3 reasons why discomfort is vital to success. Number 1 is because, like I just said, you're going to be thinking more creatively. Like, hey, say for example, you've been living in the same state, you've been living maybe even in the same house or the same apartment for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5, 10 years. Hey, moving out of that house, moving out of that apartment, moving out of that state that you've been in, and moving to a new state, a new apartment, a new house, it's going to have you uncomfortable. It's going to cause you discomfort. And what's going to happen when you are uncomfortable is you're going to have to think of new creative ways to flourish and survive and flourish and prosper in that new state, in that new house, in that new apartment, right? And that's why me personally, I value moving, and I'm always moving. I'm always looking for a new apartment and maybe even a new state to live in, because it always has me uncomfortable, always allows me to think more creatively. So that's number 1, is that when you are uncomfortable and when you're in a state of discomfort, you're going to be thinking more creatively. You're going to be thinking about more creative ideas about how you can advance. You're going to be thinking about more creative ideas about how you can make the best of a new situation or a uncomfortable situation. It's going to have you thinking outside the box, right? And that's when the most growth is going to come. Number two reason is that, hey, you're never going to find the greatest you inside of your comfort zone. What does that mean? You're never going to be the best version of yourself inside of your comfort zone. For me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of viewers and watchers and listeners, is that like, hey, when you're uncomfortable, you're going to be operating at your highest frequency. You're going to be operating and taking action and putting forth activity that is much greater than if you were in a state of comfort, right? You're going to be having more focus and more attention on the task and the activities and the targets and goals that you're moving towards. Your intention is going to be at such a higher level as well. So you're never going to find the greatest you inside of your comfort zone. And this is why, for me, hey, I'm always pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. I'm always moving towards uncomfortable activities and actions. I'm always moving towards discomfort, because I know that is when I'm going to be becoming the best version of myself. So that is when I know I'm going to be growing in all areas of my life. Financial, spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, familial, right? And, you know, when you're outside of your comfort zone, you are going to push yourself to higher levels and higher lengths, and ultimately you're just going to become better. So number 1 is, hey, you're going to be thinking more creatively. Number 2, you are going to become the best version of yourself when you're in a state of discomfort, when you are uncomfortable. And then number 3 is that, hey, you're going to find the most growth, the most wins, the most advancements, the most, ideal outcomes that you desire. You're going to find them when you're in a state of discomfort. You're going to find them when you are uncomfortable. For example, I just went to 10X Growth Conference for 4 days in Las Vegas. I had to fly 5 hours there. I had to spend money on the event. I had to spend money on the hotel. I had to spend money on the flight. Many people find that a little uncomfortable. Many people see spending money as an uncomfortable activity or action that they could take. And that is why you can receive so much growth and so many wins from moving towards uncomfortability. Like for me, hey, going to 10X Growth Conference, man, so many wins, so many gains, thinking bigger, many connections, many relationships, got to spend time with my team and partners within my organization, and a lot of great ideas came from it because I was in a state of discomfort. It wasn't as comfortable as just staying here in Florida and not going out to Vegas for 10X Growth Conference. Hey, for example, we were climbing mountains out there, and that's a little bit uncomfortable, going hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet elevated above ground level, and also climbing rocks and doing things that might seem a little dangerous or a little risky, right? But when I got to that top, I'm like, man, I'm so glad I moved towards the discomfort. I moved past the uncomfortable feeling that I had, right? So